society as stakeholders in the democracy project. And we started to recall the reversals. And we decided that we just don't keep recalling, we have to do something concrete. In the conversation, we zeroed in that the youths are not the leaders of tomorrow, but they are here with us. How can we transform this over 60% population we have into concrete use? How can we use the youth to push back this reversal? That conversation, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, brought us to this meeting. And let me start by saying how excited I am that with Dr. Eze Nwanep, you just don't dream, you birth the dream. So with your kind attention, please give Nwanep a round of applause. Please give it up to them. Give it up to them. Mr. George Mukundi, long-term expert, Pan-African Parliament, a brother, a friend across the region. Dr. Chukwuemeka Eze, the ED Nwanep. Excellency Mohamed Kunta, the AU Ambassador for West Africa, a young man trailing the blaze. Mrs. Livinia, the Program Director and the Future Minister, but currently the PD of Nwanep. Our partners from the European Union and the Charter Project Africa. Other distinguished ladies and gentlemen present. But let me recognize the very distinguished young population and youth of the vibrant West African region. I greet you. Like Dr. Eze said, we're all young in our mind. My mother would say, old age is in the mind. So we associate with you on a day like this. I am most delighted to welcome you on behalf of the President of the Commission, the Commissioner for Political Affairs, and indeed the ECOWAS community, to this Youth Voices for Change Summit on democracy, political transition in Africa. It is fitting that this summit is holding in Accra, Ghana, a country that remains an inspiration to the region and the continent for its commitment in honoring democratic transition. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's however regrettable to note that across the region, and especially in West Africa, trust in democratic government is waning. The hope that emerged from the third wave of democracy in the early 90s is becoming a mirage for many of our citizens. Despite the formal adhesion of the West African to the principles of democracy, good governance, and human rights, many of our countries continue to face challenges pertaining to these principles. This is evident with the return of military coup d'etats, unconstitutional transitions, and in some cases, tampering. Recall that it all started in Mali in 2020. Infectious as it was, it moved, and today we have Guinea, and in January we also had Burkina Faso. There was an attempt in Guinea-Bissau, and we also have some finishing in here. So for current, we are lucky we still have these practices, you will agree with me, violate the ECOWAS 2001 Supplementary Protocol on Democracy and Good Governance, which stipulates that every ascension to power must be through free, fair, credible, and transparent elections to create a fertile ground for potential stability in the region. Issues related to bad governance, poor leadership, corruption, exclusion have contributed to compounding the dire situation and exacerbating the living conditions of people, especially the young people who represent more or less 60% of the population in our region. I'm glad to know that the youth are becoming more aware, more enlightened, more interesting. Many times we have seen the youth in dancing competition. We have also seen them always on Instagram. But if you follow what's going on, there is a renaissance. The youth are becoming aware, the youth are demanding, and the youth are saying, we must sit on the table. We can no longer be only in the dance hall. So I congratulate the youth for this growing awareness, And we see that indeed that they are ready to take charge of the destiny of their countries, and they want a future that we all deserve. Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the essence of this summit and your presence here affirms our collective commitment to strengthen the pillars of a more inclusive and prosperous West Africa. As we convene, let us remember our charge to learn from the young people of West Africa, explore what opportunities exist for peaceful democratic engagement amidst our various political contests, to determine how we all become agents of change and how we can collectively guide our democratic process. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me take this moment to express my deepest appreciation to the partners of this program, the African Union, ECOWAS, of course, ourselves, WANEP, the Expertise France, and the EU for creating the opportunity for dialogue and reflection. I would also like to commend the youth present here today. Yesterday, when we got here, I asked them, I said, which hall are we using? And they showed me this hall with the chairs. Let me say, I haven't been to an ordinary conference that this number of people gathered. And I said, these are young people from West Africa. There is hope. Thank you, organizers, for pulling this through. Together, we can all play our part in transforming this great region into the bastion of peace, democracy, progress for this generation and generations to come. I thank you for your kind attention. We are earnestly willing to learn. We're earnestly willing to push. And as I conclude, let me inform the youth that we are just on the margins of the ECOWAS summit. And Dr. Eze, this was what we envisaged. On the 3rd of July, the heads of state will be meeting. Today, the youths are meeting. Tomorrow, the ministers are meeting. So you see there is a concurrence of ideas. And what the idea was, whatever happens here, we will filter it up. We will make sure that there is pressure from this meeting that is brought to bear in the discussions of the heads of state. This is the format we envisage, and I'm happy to say that with the outcome of this meeting, I know Dr. Eze and colleagues, they will be able to push what you have said here to the ears that need to hear the truth. So we are excited as ECOWAS to be associated with this. We're looking forward that this is not a one-off, Dr. Eze, that this will become institutionalized before and every ECOWAS summit takes place. I thank you for your kind attention, and I wish you also very fruitful and robust deliberation. Thank you.
Please subscribe to Maurice TVGH.